Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, last week on that sideboard, we worked primarily on subtraction, where you had to regroup across zeros. If it's not about this, then it'll wait. Where we had to regroup across zeros. Some of the papers, of course not in this class, the students didn't do so well. So we're going to do subtracting across zeros again. And what I thought I'd do is a quick example of yes, ma'am.
Can I close the door?
Yes, ma'am.
That's it.
Yes, you may. Oh my goodness. No questions until the video camera goes on. All right, so I'm going to do an example. I did one in my first class, if you need to follow along. Because we have 3 problems we're doing today, or you probably already did if you came in and got straight to work, that are subtracting across, where you have to borrow across zeros. And every day we'll have 3, just like we've been doing every week. But these are all going to have subtracting with borrowing across zeros. So I'm going to make up a random problem. Entirely random problem that I just made up. And I'm going to work it out showing all the steps. I'm probably not going to call on individual people like Emilio. I'm going to just work it out because I want to explain step by step. And if you happen to have already done this random problem, it might be good to check it. First of all, they're written horizontally on that side board. The first thing you need to do is write it vertically. And the answer to a subtraction problem is called the difference. So as we try to find the difference between 325, Blake, is my answer going to be less than or greater than 200? Greater than 200, because I'm taking less than 100 away. That's a good idea to think through prior to doing the work, because I got a lot of answers that weren't really making a lot of sense. I had some people adding because they weren't paying close attention. So now I'm going to start with the smallest place value. The smallest place value is the ones. So in the ones, I've got 0 ones, and I want to take away 5 ones. I can't do that. So then I move to the place value that's 10 times greater than the ones. Or the ones are really 1/10 of the tens. I can't either. But I can't subtract 2 tens from 0 tens. So now I have to jump all the way over to the hundreds. But I can't change the value. So I'm going to take one of those hundreds away. So now I have 2 hundreds, but I can't just disappear that 100. So I'm going to trade that 100 in for 10 tens. And I'm going to add 10 to the number of tens I have here. Well, I don't have any tens, so that leaves me with just 10 tens. Now I go back, and 2 hundreds and 10 tens is the same as 3 hundreds. Okay. So now I go back and I still can't subtract my ones place, which is 1/10 of my tens place. Or my tens place is 10 times greater than my ones place. So now I need to take one of those tens away. And I need to change one of those tens into 10 ones. I take those 10 ones. And I add those 10 ones to the number of ones I currently have, which is 0. So now I have, if we think of it like money, I have 2 hundreds, 9 tens, and 10 ones. And if you added that all together, it would still equal 300. But now I can subtract. I can do my ones place, which is 1/10 of my tens place. And so class 10 subtract 5 is? 5. Class 9 subtract 2 is?
7.
And class 2 subtract nothing else is? 2.
Yay!
Now, Now, Lincoln, if I wanted to check my work to see if my work was correct, what should I do?
Ooh. Oh. Ooh.
Is a good answer. Audrina,
Add 25 to 275.
good. I could add these two together, and what do I want them to equal, Audrina?
300.
I want them to equal 300. I want them to equal with my number I started with.
Can you stop doing that where you look at a student and then you go?
Now see, okay, you start the beginning of the year because I remember names before I remember who the name goes with. So you start at the beginning of the year.
But you already know who I am.
I know, but then it just becomes fun later on in the year.
Wow.
So I start at the beginning of the year. Well, I look at one student, and I'll say, Bassett. Now, she knows, she thinks she's going to answer, so she's ready to answer. And then Bassett has to get ready to answer. And I don't really know who Bassett is the first week of school. So then I say that, and then when Bassett answers, I can continue to put the name together. Once I do know people, and I know they really want to answer, I'll look at them and call on other people the whole time if I'm not using Team Shake, which I paid 99 cents for, so I want to get my money's worth. If I'm not using Team Shake, and then that really annoys the person who I keep looking at and calling on somebody else. Boom, shakalaka, peace out, God bless, love you, do something kind today, subscribe.